idea of where the AI field is progressing towards. According to Archive, the most popular platform for hosting papers, there are a total of
I'm pulling right there just to explain why I have two photos on the left and the right. I'm optimizing for 2025. Before I get into the video, yo, shout out to NDIO, bruh. We've been nerding out for the past 3 hours. I've been patiently technical writing and chopping it up with my boy. Make sure y'all tune into his channel. He goes live and builds apps every day, every MF day. I'm there, he's there, and we're just creating an environment to be chill. You know what I mean? So make sure y'all tap into that. And I want y'all to see the screen because that's what I was showing. Make sure y'all tap into that because we did live. We start talking with other people, people joining all that stuff. So if y'all want some more content that's live and programming wise, read it. NDIO, yo, I'm gonna see you soon. I'm still in that chat too. I'm gonna comment and shit like that, but we're gonna get to work right now, right? Cause I see him working and he's getting off in another 5 minutes. So like it's perfect timing to like get back in the swing of things. Um we're gonna check out the AI grid and the robots by 2025.
To mass produce humanoid robots by 2025. And in this recent video that we got by this company called AGI Bot, a Shanghai-based robotics company specializing in the development and production of humanoid robots and delivery robots, we got to see firsthand how the world is actively changing behind these scenes. So this is a company that is specializing.
All right, I have a theory. Before we go into the video and completion, my theory is there's drones and a lot of weird devices in US soil. I don't know if it's US like weaponry being used. I feel like low key, either China, Russia, or one of them worlds is spying on us, right? Or something is going on with like global intelligence where like either some embassy or someone is watching over us, basically. I feel like that because Trump yesterday he went on the air to say the government knows what's going on about the drones in New Jersey, like, and he kept it at that. So Trump is not gonna tell us, right? But Trump is not going to deny it as well, which is a scary world we're living in right now because Shanghai is mass producing a lot of things. So robots by 2025 may not be the best idea because that may signal war. You get what I mean? Like it may signal like a new version of war, like digital warfare, where robots are gonna be like the benchmark. And if your robo team lose, they are going to impede on whatever you got going on in your nation. That's just my theory. Like we're gonna be in World War III, but it's gonna be TW1. TWW1. I'm coming up with the abbreviations now. Tech World War One. Because we have too much things that we aren't addressing in the tech space because there's no legal representation. And the reason why is because risk you can't risk not advancing AI even at the risk of other human beings because other nations are aiming to take us off of our pedestal. So we kind of have to look at the other way when it comes to AI, AGI, and all of the robotic stuff. Because if China has something working in 2025 for robots, they may not be good, but you just have to stay prepared.
and the humanoid robots that are going to be working in your homes and in factories around the world. And recently, they have decided to, hit the gas a little bit and ensure that they're going to be one of the leaders for these humanoid robots. So they've decided to increase the rate of production of these robots and scale up the amount of robots that they're going to be doing. In this demo, you can see them working on module assembly. This is where they are working on ensuring that the actuators are correct and all of the necessary components of these robots are going to be working efficiently. They are going to produce so many robots that it is going to be incomprehensible the future that we're going to be living in. And funnily enough, we can also see that some of the robots in the factories are also assisting them in this process, leading us to understand that this is a symbiotic relationship and one that gets faster with every iteration cycle. After all, if you do have more robots, then you can get more done. And if you can get more done, you can certainly build more robots and vice versa. So they also have an extensive testing facility for these actuators, ensuring that they can handle all the necessary loads for many different types of environments. After all, these robots are going to exist for quite some time, and they're going to be needing to be tested in a variety of different environments, different stresses, just a variety of different tests to ensure that these robots are ready to go out into the rugged world that is the harsh terrain. Now, these robots aren't just humanoid robots. We can see here that they have several different kinds. We've got the A2D, and in the main assembly area, we can see that these ones have wheels at the bottom of the bases. This shows us that there are vast different applications for these kinds of robots, and whether it's humanoids or ones with wheels, there are going to be different areas and different applications that most people are going to be surprised by. So at the last testing area right here, you can see that I'm not sure why they're dressed up, but it does look like the shot out of a Terminator movie. But no, this is a real demo from a real company that is really behind the scenes ramping up what is possible. Now we can also see at the Gigafactory just how many robots they have in production. And one of the most incredible things that they are doing with these robots is the large scale data collection. So with the data collection, they have these small areas / environments where they are mimicking exactly where these robots are going to be when they're deployed in your home. As you all know, certain homes and certain environments are different in terms of their size, they're different in terms of their, lighting, and all of those different individual factors have.
I guess my question is, if it's already an AGI bot and you're training it on so much data already that it's probably farther than the human can imagine, but nonetheless, you're training it on that data to do that one specific task. What if they fuck up one day and we tell them that you messed up? Will they kill us? That's a genuine question. Because how it reacts to a mess up is more important than how it works. I need to know how you gonna react if I tell you it doesn't work. And I have to ensure that you don't make me not work as a result of my response. So,
To be collected through
and that's free for open interpretation. Drop in the comment. You know what I'm saying?
vast amounts of data collection. And this is how they're doing that. Real world data collection and synthetic data collection. With those two forces, they're going to be able to generalize with those robots, have high precision, and with efficient fine tuning, they're going to have a really, really effective stack that allows them to scale these robots to be the most effective robots in terms of whatever task it is.
I'm gonna ask NDIO actually. Yo, me too. I guess so. They should have a plan for solo devs now. It's just for teams. We're talking about Devin right now, so let me make sure you guys can see the comments because I definitely do want you to see it. So we're talking about Devin. Definitely right. They should have some pay to play plan rolling out in 2025. Corporate tech world. You heard that is rolling out humanoids in 2025. You're signaling war. What do you think about robots and I wouldn't say signaling war because he might not be well versed in what's going on, but we're signaling we are behind. Oh, he's out. He is out. I bet. See you soon. Hopefully he answers the question before he heads out. Oh, he's out. Thanks for hanging out, Galian. Yeah, thanks for hanging out, y'all. You feel me? Alright, so he said, so right now we're clowning Devin. He's on the Slack bot, and we want to make sure that, devs at least get some sort of devs get some sort of program or pay to play plan from Teams because it looked like Teams is trying to pivot its way into the tech space, and I don't. It's whatever.
That they do have. You can see their AIDA platform is going to be the one that allows them to scale this past the million. So it's going to be really interesting to see how these robots perform out there in the real world. But so far, based on what I'm seeing, a lot of the tasks that we're seeing these robots do seem to be effortless.
I seen something pretty
It's going to be
alarming.
really interesting to see.
Right there, the head color and all of that screen, right? From the robot screen, you can't like see.
But so far, based on what I'm seeing, a lot of the tasks that we're seeing
like
these
what's
robots
going on in a
seem
person's
to be
house. That's not pretty
and
evasive.
smooth. And this comes as to no surprise, as 2025 is the deadline for China's robotic efforts in terms of them trying to leap forward. And I wouldn't be surprised if these robots, when they are commercialized, are quite as usual and quite as normal as simply having a phone in your house. Now, this company, like I said before, isn't the only company that is doing this. We know that there are other companies around China that are also working on humanoid robots. The demo that you're seeing here is XPeng's robots, and XPeng's is a subsidiary of the Chinese electric vehicle company XPeng, and they're actually focusing on developing intelligent bionics. Now, this company was actually founded in 2016 and is headquartered in Shenzhen, China. And the craziest thing about this demo was I remember when I showed it to my audience. First, they were really surprised that this was something that was even real. Many were claiming that this was CGI and that this was not real at all, but I can assure you that after seeing several demos of this robot in a variety of different videos, that this just goes us to show how far we are in terms of the timeline to where these robots are performing things that humans can't even fathom is actually real. Now,
and in all reality, I'm not going to say what company, but I've worked for companies and other people who already have robo arms and started integrating robotics into some of their production activities. More specifically, the health field, the drug and pharmaceutical field. There's a lot of people right now that's just testing robotics because they already have a standard that needs to be pushed. So, like, if you have a drug business, you already know how much products you need. So, there's like a stagnation period for them. They could either go down drastically or maintain the level of work that they have right now. And, like, it may seem like it's a good thing at first, but after a while, you kind of want to push boundaries because it gets harder and harder to maintain that level of success, which is why there's not a lot of successful distribution manufacturers when it comes to drugs. Because after a while, you have to push that boundary. So robotics is going at least mass production in America. I don't know about China, because y'all gonna have robots that's falling on their face. That's just my opinion. The robo arms and different like prosthetic use. What is it called? Wearables, or it's something about attaching robotics and the human DNA to make it like unison. That right there is going to be $1 billion industry. I just don't know how regulated you would want that. I wouldn't want to have my peacemaker regulated by a dude behind the computer, even though it already is. I don't know how we are gonna live with ourselves if we combine tech and like body, because now we got to worry about hackers more than ever, more than the outside world, because a hacker could dead ass just hack you and kill you. So that's gonna be like the first era where just, you know what I mean? Like you might see some weird things. Like you might see dead people connected to humanoid things and they're still living, and we don't know how. And we honestly can't even fathom how a AI or automation system could keep a human being running that long. Is it painful for the other being? What can they see? Like, there's so much questions when it comes to just the integration of robots.
For those of you guys who are thinking, okay, this is just a short demo of it walking around in a pristine environment, the company managed to show us just exactly
Checking my
how this
phone, yeah.
robot is
This
going
is
to
all
be applied
improv, by the
to
way,
various
off the
different
top.
industries. One of the key demos we got to see was this robot actually working inside of a factory. We got it to see it firsthand do several different tasks, and it seemed very human-like in its ability to grab certain objects, be able to analyze certain objects, and be able to efficiently work with the team. So this is something that, like I said before, is surprising a lot of people, because right now we walk around, we don't see humanoid robots walking amongst us. But in these factories, behind these scenes in China, there is a quiet revolution that is brewing.
Nah,
Humanoid
it is.
robots are going to be the next big thing in terms of market efficiency for those trying to scale any kind of physical labor intensive company.
I don't know. And that's why I said I don't know. Because even the robotics thing, it has to be brought in alongside with humans. So there's still a comparison level. So we still gonna have to like kind of play in that benchmark of great work. But I think after a year of a company integrating robotics, you can now then see to push the boundaries. But even then, I don't know, because robotics, it can't operate like we're seeing now. It really can't, because at that point it becomes a hindrance on the work production, and you might lose more trying to operate than what you were doing before. So it's still a hit or miss. We got to see how it
And we're seeing
integrates
right here
seamlessly.
firsthand that these companies are really, really advancing in terms of the pace and in terms of the development of what they're doing. And car manufacturers are one of the biggest users of these humanoid robots. So I wouldn't be surprised if by the year 2030, we see fully automated car factories that are just run by a team of humanoid robots and maybe one or two orchestrators that, operate these robots and automate them in terms of their efficiency. So overall, you can see the vision system here performing really well, being able to get the robot to perform certain tasks. And I think this is one of those moments where you have to see, okay, we are now entering that futuristic timeline where, yes, humanoid robots are going to be a part of the future and a key part of the economy in terms of keeping up that economic growth. Now, this company has actually raised over 7 billion yuan in funding and actually gained the recent backing of industry giants like BYD and Huawei. And this support comes from some of the biggest, coming from some of the biggest names in the industry, is a clear sign that the world is starting to take humanoid robots seriously. Now, there are still hurdles ahead, and some people believe that there are still scientific challenges that we will face before they can truly reach their full commercial.
I have another theory on robots, but I want to see if he touches it first, because a lot of people online talk, but they don't really give their point of view and opinion. So
Potential.
he
But
got a
with the
minute left,
progress that they have
but
already
I feel like
made,
I know
it
where it's
seems
gonna go.
that this is something that is looking to be very, very exciting for the future of humanoid robotics. So I wouldn't be surprised if other companies, once they manage to figure out all the kinks and all the small details, that they start to mass produce these robots as well. So far, I think this is something that I do have to pay attention to, as when it comes to applying AI to sort of, the embodiment aspect, this is going to be something that we really are going to be looking at firsthand. We've all seen the figure demo and, of course, the 1X Neo robots, but I wonder how quickly China is going to scale their robotics efforts too. So, with that being said, with robot armies slowly coming to fruition and the robot workforce probably entering us year on year on year, increasing in size year over year, what do you guys think of this future? If you enjoyed the video,
So I did enjoy the video. I'm gonna like it. Comment, just review. Well, no, I'm gonna do the comment and then do it after. Honestly, I feel like just in terms of the humanoid aspect, I don't know in terms of US, I don't know if we're gonna integrate it like China. Like that part isn't gonna fly for security reasons, privacy reasons, and all of that. I think it'll integrate into VR amazingly though. Like giving the user like, all right, let's say you playing a video game. You gonna need a controller, joystick, and all the things to make sure the robot can move and stuff like that. There's obviously gonna be microcontrollers and different type of things for robotics at a later point in time. Not saying now, but definitely gonna be some microcontrollers. Everything can be handled by the system. You're gonna have some remote access stuff on hand nearby to play with it. And if you don't, you gotta go into the big boy and then, get into the code. VR is gonna be a great way to kind of like make it immersive in the robotics aspect. So let's say you have a couple employees who do phenomenal on that one side of the job. You'll have them and then the other employees who don't do that good. I guess you'll look at it as a warning, but you just, put them behind the VR and let them operate the machinery, which could probably process things faster than them. You know what I mean? So it's not like you're replacing a whole industry, you're replacing workers that don't need to be there. And then from there, you then compete with the workers that are on top, right? And then those workers either are better than them, which you would then have to replace them on the machine and see how they fare against machine to machine, but different type of people controlling it. But I ultimately feel like that's how robots are going to be introduced into the workforce. And it'll limit some of the job laws and the labor laws, but it definitely replace some of the manual and some of the other aspects of a factory, of different lines of work that is tedious and really not needed if you're not that good at it. Now, it isn't to say that you'll be replaced, but robots will definitely help you more than the person that, knows it like the back of his hands. And the reason why it's not that bad, or it's not that bad, because once you get good at using the robots, think of it like you're not as good as the job that you was competing against, but you're great at robotics. So you're able to get the same job done more efficiently than the person that is best at that position. So in that eyes, you just proved your value to the company, right? Easy and simple. I feel like that is where the workforce and robotics is going to go because it's hard to replace everyone without a solid data or a track record of robots working and helping us advance.
This chart is the reason that AI is not making developers obsolete anytime soon. In fact, it shows how development skills are more valuable than ever, and this is not a phenomena of just one product. It affects every product that gives people who are not developers some degree of ability to code. And the way AI model progress has been plateauing lately suggests this may not change anytime soon, if ever. Anyone who's not a developer but has used tools like Bolt or Cursor or V0 to build basic applications from prompts know all too well the pit of death that you eventually always fall into. Things start fast and awesome. The basic scaffold of your page or your site or even some of the basic functionality comes in seconds. But then you start prompting more and more, and you start to struggle more in getting what you want out of it. As the application gets more complex, the behaviors you're looking for don't seem to come out quite as easily. And then eventually, some prompt you use breaks everything. Nothing works, and no matter what you try, the AI cannot get out of this corner. That's the pit of death, and I've seen it happen over and over and over. Some esoteric bug is just too challenging for the LLM to solve on its own, and then that's it, your app is done. If you find yourself lucky enough to not land in a pit of death, you'll probably hit a plateau of death instead, where again, after a certain number of prompts, you just don't seem to be able to make progress anymore. There's truly only one fix for these situations, and that is you gotta roll up your sleeves and get in the code and fix whatever the AI couldn't. Whether that means solving some very esoteric bug, or implementing some features so that the AI can continue off of your implementation, there's always a point where the human is needed. Even if the model's got 10x better, I don't think you'll actually offset the development need by that much. The reality is LLMs are good at code generation, but code generation and writing is only one part of many of software development. And in my experience, when an engineer comes in to unblock the AI, the next pit of death is just right around the corner. And as the application gets more complex, you need the developer intervention more and more in shorter and shorter intervals. Eventually, what ends up happening is you go from products that don't require any development to ultimately exporting that code and needing developers to fully take it over. And now the developers use different tools that are similar but more focused on code editing. And that's not to say that the tools that didn't require development in the beginning aren't useful. They actually can be incredibly useful for things like prototyping.
This is the hold on. This is a good case of you guys aren't developers. You guys don't know what you don't know. So you guys are using V0 Bolt Builder.io and like thinking you guys are full stack developers until you reach a full stack problem. And then you see what tools we use and you're like, what the fuck is that? Leave the professional stuff to the pros. You feel me? If you can't build the app, just pay a nigga to do it. At least it'll be cheaper to maintain. And if you don't want to pay someone to do it, then you'll have to live with whatever issues your app has. It's no in
Didn't
between.
require development in the beginning aren't useful. They actually can be incredibly useful for things like prototyping, making simple internal tools, and micro applications like a pricing calculator. Now, the big question is, how do you use these things to make your lives better as an engineer, designer, product manager, marketer, whatever your role is? I think there's a few heavily overlooked use cases that you could adopt in your workflows now to make your life a lot better by using these tools and leaning into where they're going. As an engineer myself, the two things that drive me the most insane are poorly written specifications, where we didn't fully understand the problem and what really is needed to solve it, and ever-changing requirements, where it turns out our original guesses were wrong, customers and feedback told us different things, and now halfway through building the thing, we're changing how we're doing it and everything's becoming a mess. In my experience, you have to get hands-on with an application to really know how it needs to be used. Even better, get it in real users' hands, even if it's not fully functional. Just having users go through the actual flows and testing the things that looked good in wireframes and designs, but maybe actually don't feel right in practice, can really help improve your product UX. But if you have to build the whole thing before you learn that, that's wildly inefficient and can lead to very messy code bases. Alternatively, with these rapid prototyping AI tools, we can iterate before we actually commit to building the full thing. We can try out the flows even if all functionality is not there. If we're lucky, we can even get direct user feedback in small ways and learn as much as possible early before we then commit to a finalized spec and building the real full application. But there's other implications I believe coming soon too. While I don't think programming is going away at all, I think it will change. I think every year we're going to see a major reduction in actually handwritten CSS code. The same way you don't handwrite a PDF, you export it from a tool. Design and design-to-code tools are becoming so good that they can generate CSS for you, shockingly close to how you would have written it yourself. In doing that, we can stay exactly true to the original design spec and avoid a lot of redlining and back and forth to make this look correct. But I don't think it needs to stop there. I think looking to the future, the big question is, how do we get more tedious development off of our plates so that developers don't need to update colors, add a simple section, modify text, tweak some logic? If marketing or product or design needs small changes, how can we give the tooling like they'd have for a fresh new app with something like Bolts, but compatible with a real application with
Honestly, don't tell him. Because I feel like he's just going to implement it in his app and then make it harder for you guys to decipher if you need a developer or not. Great business, but it's usually people like that that don't have the best products unless you pay for the premium plan. So the new agent mode on Cursor is huge. I've been developing a large complex app and there are issues, but we'll work through it on that. Making progress. I think the main issue are context and understanding that. Overall ability for I'm not gonna lie to you. If you do have a project, and this is what my mentor usually told me when it comes to project, you give yourself 3 days. If you can't see yourself making an MVP in 3 days, then like you either need to work on your skills, and I'm talking about 24 hours, 24 hours, 24 hours, not like 12 hours, 12 hours, 12 hours. My mentor worked at SpaceX, so he was part psychotic. That's what I always told him. He thought certain shit that was like annoying was fun. So he said, you take a whole weekend, you build it. He would go to Burning Man and just sit there and like build shit. Dude, you would think it's impossible, but in 3 days, you lock yourself and just focus on that one thing. I don't think it'll take a year. That's what I'm saying. I don't think like a lot of these projects will take a year.
Really
So some of the workarounds and stuff that y'all getting into, like let's say one day you can't figure out this bug. It may be that you're not that good at that area too. Like we're putting a lot of pressure on AI to do things that we train it to do. You get what I mean? So you may not be good at the area you're asking AI to do it. You may not even be explaining it to a point where he can teach you how to be good. Always keep that into consideration when you're using these models because you have to be good, not like average or the average Joe. Like you have to be, this data is going to be trained against itself to get the best version of itself. Like Devin, they hacked into Devin and 5 Devins already fixed it before it was a huge internal issue. So you, as a developer, have to genuinely be good, not like average. And then next year, you probably have to be great. And in the year after, you probably have to be AGI. So just understand this tech space, it ain't for like not good people. If you suck at coding, just struggle. If you don't know how to problem solve, like if I tell you I need help with this and you can't even speak it out to me, that's an issue. So remember, you it's okay to be not confident in your ability, but at what point do you let a nigga know that you know what you're talking about?
users and real developers that work on it daily. Luckily, I work on a team that built one of these products, so I can just show you what's coming soon, specifically around how AI could better fold into full team workflows and automate a lot more than just an initial prototype creation. The first interesting one is something called code sync. This is where you can not just convert a design to code with AI, but you can then modify the code, and when the design updates again, there's a link back to the code, so the code gets granularly updated with just the design change, without developers having to do that by hand at all. So let's say AI converted the design to code, you added all kinds of logic and modifications. Now the design has new colors, new buttons, modified text, and tweaked styles. With Code Sync, you can just push the changes right back to your codebase with the most granular update possible and review and merge it. This is currently in private beta and we're hoping to roll it out soon. Another interesting and under-leveraged
Yeah, because I was about to say you guys have like a little GitHub thing project going on over there, which is cool. Like I'm all for it. I'm all for it. See, you get that onto your platform, I'll be a happy buyer, and I'm a developer. I'll boop, boop, boop.
approach that already exists today is using a deeply AI integrated CMS. So in the case of Builder, what you can do is section off parts of your site or app and decide what regions can be controlled by the CMS. These regions can be assigned to specific teams, like the homepage body goes to the marketing team, a hero section goes to a merchandising team, etc. And then you can use generative AI just like you would with Bolt, Cursor, Zero, or whatever, but the updates go directly to the site or app published over an API. Think of it as like Bolt embedded in your site and app, with whatever rules and restrictions you want around it. What that unlocks is not just crazy generative AI use cases within your live sites and apps, but it opens up 2 other really interesting use cases. The first one is integrating agents into this AI CMS structure. One use case we're exploring
That's why I
is
waited.
being able to have like a Slack bot, where you might have a conversation about what you'd like to
Alright, so here's what I'll say, Builder. I know where y'all going with it, and I think that you were the first person to buy Devin. Don't do it, bro. One of the issues I faced when making an LLM was like I couldn't get it off my computer once it was there. Like I had to like force delete it, shut my computer down, and do a whole bunch of like restarting to ensure that it was deleted. And it was on a flash drive, bro. You're gonna put an AI agent on your program, controlling all the data and information that goes through. You are 100% going to get issues like sending messages to the wrong team, or missed orders, or free orders. Something that's like out of this world that you may or may not want to use AI agents ever again. The only reason I'm saying that is because you can't guarantee what response they're going to give you. They train on too much parameters, and whatever you tell it could mean something completely different than what another person would tell it. The prime time spent what 20 to 25 hours trying to convince Devin to push his code to
Change in
commit,
your
bro.
homepage or ID.
Push his code to commit, bro. And it was to the point where he was trying not to get frustrated, but like, why is there so much back talk or banter or like, as a developer, you'll get it. You feel me? Like, it's so much tedious stuff that you gotta go around when working with generative AI or LLMs. It's like a parent trying to figure out what you want to eat. Like, what do you want to eat? I don't know. I want McDonald's, Chipotle, Popeyes. All the parent wants to know is what you want to eat, bro. The little generative AI in front of us has seen a whole bunch of fuck shit. Like, come on now, just pick one answer so we could go there and come back, bro. Like, I got stuff to do. That's what it's like using an AI agent, and I don't think Devin is going to be the best, like the best. I ran this as a 10% test, and we saw.
Ideas on things you could do differently, and you just tag the builder agent in Slack, and it'll read the conversation, apply the suggestions as like a 5 or 10% test, and then come back a week later and let you know how that test performed. In this world, for those self-contained regions that are probably more marketing focused, and things you don't really need or want to have in code anyway, the agent could just make those updates end-to-end autonomously and do the tedious work and just let you know what the results are each time. We could even take that one step further and let the AI auto-optimize things. So in a CMS like Builder, where all content is also tied to analytics, when you produce content through the CMS, the AI agent can automatically start creating A/B test variations, leveraging context it already knows about your business, and finding what variant converts best, and scaling that up to 100% of traffic completely.
So that is a great analysis, but on the flip side, what if the information or data that you're inputting just doesn't have the same impact as another LLM model? Like, you limiting yourself by making it a Slack bot, bro. Like, there's a whole bunch of different models out there. Like 5.4 just came out. Granted, this video came out 13 days ago, but like, there's a whole bunch of LLMs that you could train, like build a train. It doesn't have to be an integration. And I think that's what we got to get more into. Like, not everything has to be an integration into the world or whatever brain that we're trying to feed. Make your own product, make sure it's a good product and that the data isn't like faulty. That is literally what AI and LLM should be used for on a day-to-day basis. Not to run our lives. It should just be there as like a kind of like a helper to allow us to gauge what's going on in front of us. I feel like we're putting too much power in the AI's hand, and we're doing that because we were never that good in the idea of tech. Like, and there's a lot of fallacy in tech. Like, we're making breakthrough or a lot of like advancements. Give me the biggest advancement we had ever since Tesla came out. Give me the biggest advancement we had ever since the iPhone came out. What about laptops? Gaming laptops were the best thing that happened, but after that, what happened? Or gaming PCs, gaming everything. So we're at like a plateau, like what you're saying right now. Like, we're definitely plateauing, but it's so funny how humans will blame the AI rather than notice how we, as a generation of species, just plateaued when it came to our evolution. The fact that AI has the potential to outpace human evolution by years and years and years is mind blowing, bruh. And there's nothing we can do about it. And humans are not young, nigga. We been in this bitch for a minute. AI been in this world for two. I'm not even gonna say 2 years. 2 human years or three, 4 good human years, bro. I need an AI to human converter. Because like honestly, I don't want to keep saying that it's 4 years. I feel like that's too much disrespect to the AI. In 4 years, AI ChatGPT was 7 years old. Can you believe that in 4 human years of time, Open AI ChatGPT turned 7? What more? What more is there to say? Like, that doesn't even mathematically make sense to a human. That's to an AI though.
Autonomously. It can also take your audiences and create personalized versions of content for each audience and play with the knobs to make sure every piece of content is as highly converting as possible in a 100% automatic way. And if you take that one step further, you can even see we're not that far away from a world where we can do one-to-one personalization, where the AI is generating parts of the user journey in real time as they're browsing. So as you browse the site or app, or I do, we could see completely different flows optimized for exactly us, generated by LLMs in real time. This one's probably the furthest because we have to worry about cost and latency, but as more and more LLM optimized hardware comes out, and we're seeing up to 5x gains in speed and efficiency of inference, this might not actually be that far away. So while I don't think everyone will be a developer overnight because of AI, and I do think the more you have development skills, the more you can use the AI to generate code, unblock yourself, and do incredible things, I think the biggest unlock that's coming is better connecting the AI tools with your existing teams and workflows to be able to build and iterate on real applications faster than traditional methods while maximizing the skills of everyone. And we all build better products faster together and focus on our unique skills and creativity and less of redundant menial work.
Now, the one-to-one theory you had, I never thought of it like that. And now that you're thinking of it like that, it gives me time to flirt with your idea, which is what programming is. Oof. Ideas being flirted with. No one got to be right. I definitely see that one-to-one. Like, I definitely see a time period, and this goes back to the labor market, where a lot of jobs will be like behind the screen. So if I'm a user shopping or doing whatever I'm doing, there's gonna be another, what I would say, person behind there monitoring the agent, probably supervising the website or whatever. But that